Right, YouTube, speaking Mike without further ado, retro. It's about that time again, so let's know another Pigs video. Cheers. Right, so basically, at the moment we're sort of going through a bit of a transition. The collection is evolving. So basically, it was basically trying to downsize some of my collection. Basically, you can see some of the Mega Drive stuff's gone missing. Not a lot of it's gone missing, to be honest. Most of it's in the other room with the sort of retro gaming setups. I've been using a lot of it on there, but we have let a few titles go. So the collection is evolving, and it's supposed to be shrinking in size because I've just got too much stuff, to be honest. I've got more than I could ever play. I've got a lot of games that I've got no intention of playing. So I think you should only have what you're going to play. What you know. There's no point in hanging on to games just to sit on shelves. I like to sort of play all the games, and if I'm not playing them, then sell them on to other people who are collecting and give them the opportunity to play the games. So. But apparently, two people didn't get the memo, which was myself and Dylan Craven. He's a blooming influencer, is that lad. Strongly followed by Eddie Mine. So, there's sort of Dylan's the biggest influencer without a channel. So, definitely. So a lot of these pickups have been influenced by Dylan. He shows just such cool stuff. He's like, oh, this is coming out, that's coming out, and I'm sure he's on commission or something, because or he's in with my bank manager or something, because yeah. So right. Without further ado, we'll get on with it. So we've got a bit of everything this week. So yeah, a bit of everything. So the first one up is just a Game Boy game, Purifier Deluxe, I think it's called. Don't know why, I just remember this supposed to be being good, so it was cheap, so I thought if it's supposed to be good, I'll pick it up. And as you know, I've sort of been I've got the updated Game Boys and the Game Boy Advance now, and I've been sort of hammering those now. So any sort of good Game Boy games that I might have not been able to play with the sort of original Game Boys, I'm looking into the library of the Game Boy now and getting a few Game Boy games and playing those. So I've really been sort of playing a lot of those. So this is a game that I've also got before, but this was up for very cheap, so I picked it up again, which is Grisor, which is an absolutely fantastic game. It's you may know it as Contra or Pro Protector. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Really, really good release on the Spectrum. I'd love to get this on disc. I don't know if it came out, but I'm certainly looking for it. There's one Amstrad CPC 128 or 464, and they've got it on there, and it was like 100 and something quid, 150 odd quid. But I'd love to get this on disc because it's a great game. So that's Grise. Also, I was happy to pick that up. It's like £1.50 and £1 something delivery. You can't go wrong. It's usually like, I'd say, between a £6 and a £10 game. So it's from the same seller again. Cheap again, like £1.50, and so like postage of another pound something. Which is Bomb Jack 2, which has also got Bomb Jack on. Sorry about the reflection. It's also got Bomb Jack on, and these are great little games on the Spectrum. Great sort of on all systems. Very good on the Amiga and that, but just nice to have. I've not had it, and as it's got the original Bomb Jack on it, which is also a bonus, I thought I'd pick it up and get that. So I didn't have that. I'm pretty sure I haven't got that. So if I do have it, I'll sell the lesser copy. Another game. I actually missed out on this at Revival, the Revival Mini. I was speaking to one of my mates there, Rob, or Rob Hazelby, and I said, "Oh, there's a nice Smith in the other room on Spectrum." And he said, "Oh, I've just blooming bought it." It's like, it was really cheap there. I've paid about double what it was there. I think Rob got it for about £5. So this was over a tenner. There was another one on bids. This was nice condition. And I sort of said, look, if you take a tenner delivered, £9.90 I think I paid in the end, which is Myth. It's a little bit of a nick there. It's showing the next pickup there. A little bit of a nick there, unfortunately, but other than that, it's in very, very nice condition. I'll have to get this in a protector pretty quick. So, yeah, it's a great game. This was made on the 8-bits initially, and then I think a year or couple of years, then they made it again for the Amiga. They've done a remake on the Amigas and the ST and that. So everything's in there. It's all nice and clean. So really happy to get this. I do have a lesser copy of this, so I'll be getting rid of that. And it's nice to pick up Myth because it's a really good game. Like I say, if you can see the graphics on there, that's the Spectrum there, the screenshot there, and there. It's a really good game on the 8-bits. It's a really good, as you can see, Crash Smash and all that. CVG hit. Really good game. One of the sort of better games on the 8-bits as well. Now, I think I've got a lesser copy of this as well. But this is in quite nice condition. This came up cheap. This was less than a tenner, I'm pretty sure it was. And this is how I played a lot of these games back in the day. It actually belonged to Dougal McTavish. Dougal McTavish used to have this. And he used to play it on his 48, his 48K. And I actually had the +3. I had +3. So there was another time that I actually had something better than Dougal. But Dougal had the 48K Spectrum, a blooming Master System. And not long after, when the Mega Drive came out, he had that. So, you know, he was, and then, like I say, he got his Super Nintendo a day after me. So, but yeah, Dougal McTavish used to have this. And this was like one of the sort of better collections. The In Crowd. So you've got Combat School, Karnov, Gryzor, Barbarian 1 and 2 on here as well. Platoon, Crazy Cars, Target Renegade and Predator. The choice titles for me on there would be Combat School, Gryzor, Target Renegade really, and Barbarian 1 and 2. Really, really, real good pack this. So it's got all the instructions and all that there. And all the tapes are in there, so it's double layered. I'm tipping all the tapes over myself. Yeah, it's double layered, and you got all the tapes there, that one, and then you got them there as well. So, but the one thing I did think was a bit stupid is on one of the tapes, and probably the one you're going to want to use the most. Obviously, I didn't know what they were doing with this. One of the tapes is it's got Crazy Cars on it. And then Target Renegade after that on the same side. So obviously you'd want to get a Target Renegade, wouldn't you? So I'd have thought that would have been on its own side. But yeah, well, nevertheless, it was a good way to sort of pick up the games. And a lot of great games there. As I say, 50% of those games are really good games. At a reasonable price. And that was what it was all about back in the day. So we couldn't always sort of afford lots of games. A lot of us all had the hit squad games, or we all copied them off each other, didn't we? But also another way of getting them was compilations like this. So I was really pleased to get that. So right, now we're into the Mega Drive. And yeah, like I say, a lot of these have been coming up really cheap. So basically, if I see a game cheap, I find it hard to pass up really. So the game I've been after for quite a while. It's not in the greatest condition. Which is True Lies. The case and everything's okay. The cart's a bit of a dog, and it's missing the manual as well. So the cart's a bit like, you know, in it. But to be honest, I think it's about 18 quid for this. It's usually 30 or 40 quid game. So you know, I can always sort of upgrade the cart at some point. And like I say, True Lies for less than 20 quid. You're not going to beat that really. Another game that I also have. So I'm basically I'm in an eye on which one to sell, but this came up cheap as well. I think this was about 18 quid, maybe less, which is Midnight Resistance Genesis version. Obviously, Genesis version will be in English. I do have the Japanese version of this. Unfortunately, it is missing the manual. But like I say, the cart's okay. It's clean. So yeah, so. Usually, I mean, I say Japanese version. This is usually about 40 to 60, usually. So, like I say, I'm gonna have to decide which one to let go. And again, I think these are all from the same seller actually. Again, another game that I had, but it came up cheap. I think this was £19.99 plus £3 something delivery. So. It's New Zealand Story, Japanese version. Now, it's in the wrong box because you've got a hang tab, and Japanese games don't have hang tabs. Or as far as I'm aware, they don't. Most of the ones I've got don't. But this is all there. You've got the cartridge and everything. It's got the age. You can see it's got the age. And what I wanted it for was this. This is a manual, so basically I'll whip this out and put it in mine, and then hopefully I'll be able to sell this one on for what I paid for it roughly. I mean, this is usually a lot more than 20 quid. It's usually, I'd say 40 to 60 again, complete. So, you know, if I sell it on for the, like, you know, 20, 24, 25, then, you know, I mean, I paid a lot more than that for mine when I got my one. And that didn't have instructions either. So I'll just have to have a look what they go for. But there's definitely, you know, I should definitely get my money back. And, you know, I got the manual and everything. Another game I've been after for quite some time. This is in the correct box. It's from the same seller again. And I've been after this for a while. And this game can fetch some good money. I think it's usually around 60 to 90. And it is Rainbow Islands Extended Edition, is it? Yeah, Rainbow Islands Extra. So, I think it's a little bit faded on the old side. But I've been after this for a while. Really have been after this for a while. And to try and get this for a good price. As you see, if I can blooming open it. It's like it's been glued shut or something. Right, so in here you've got the manual, you've got the cartridge. But as you can see, it's in a Taito box. And on the back, also tight on the cartridge, so everything's all original and all good. Usually that's a what a good way of telling as well is the labels usually coming off on these old ones. The glue, with the age of the glue, it's giving up. So yeah, this is, like I say, usually I think it's about 60 to 90. I got this for 39.99 plus postage. So real chuffed to get that. That'll be going in my collection. Really happy to get that. Again, another one I've been after for a while. Unfortunately, this is missing instructions, but we're alright with that. You know, the instructions is the least important part for me. This is basically Gary's, I believe it's pronounced. It's all there. I think this again was $39.99 plus postage. It's all there. The cartridge is fine. Labels on and everything. So happy to get that. I've been after this for a while. This is usually around, I'd say 50 to 70. So to get this for 40 quid, it's getting hard to get it for 50 now. Like I say, it's usually, I'd say 60 to 70 usually. You usually got the manual in there. And some people are after like 100 off quid for it, but you know, don't ever pay that. I want people blown asking. So yeah, this looks a really good shooter, this one. So yeah, I'm sort of, I might start sort of concentrating on maybe getting a lot of the Japanese shooters. I'm sort of going with the Mega Drive. I'm sort of thinking, I've got a lot of titles that I don't have nostalgia for. So if I didn't necessarily have nostalgia for, I don't necessarily want to play the games. I'm going to let all what I don't want to go, what I don't want to play go. You know, there's no point in just having games for the sake of having games. And then I'm going to get all the sort of what I do want. And sort of play a lot more as well. So, I say the collection is evolving. So, right, and up next is something we haven't had for a while, and that is a bit of Super Nintendo, which is Rocky Rodent. This was recommended by Kelsey off of Metal Jesus quite some time ago. It looks like it's a little bit faded. But it's sealed. It's I think it's a reseal, to be honest. I've put it straight in this case. As you can see, it's all sealed apart from one end. One end is opened, but it's in full like a H seal. I think it's called a H seal, isn't it? You can sort of see it. So, like I say, the cover's a little bit faded. It didn't have a manual. Yeah, it didn't have a manual. But yeah, so I'm really chuffed to get this. It's supposed to be a really good game, this. So, as I say, it's recommended by Kelsey off Metal Jesus. She's got her own game store, and she's by Irem, so Irem made our type. But this is sort of a hidden gem that she recommended. I've been after this for a while, and I've got this when the eBay done the when you got like 20% off or something. So I actually used the thing twice. It said you could only use it once, but I used it on this and something else, and another bundle of games that I got. So yeah, I was really sort of chuffed to get that. So right, this one, the joke, the ever running joke with me and Steve is now going to come to an end because Mr. Bads made me aware at Revival that there was an Atari ST version of Jumpin' Jackson. So basically I bid on it and I got it for a great price. I've liberated it and now it's my Amiga version. So I've just removed the label. Both boxes are the same. Apart from one's got an Amiga label on and one's got an Atari ST. So great game, Jumpin' Jackson. Like I say, I had all the manuals and discs and everything. This had another manual in, so I've got 2 manuals in there. A disc and a spare disc, which is a Bew Jolly Collection one. And I've just been after this for such a long time. It is a game that just eluded me. It doesn't come up a lot. So, like I say, we've Frankensteined it all together. I'll be putting that in a box protector, actually, because this was really hard for me to get. So, yeah, really, really chuffed. And we've got Jumpin' Jackson now. So it's a great... That's a little hidden gem. If you haven't played Jumpin' Jackson, get yourself on a bit of Jumpin' Jackson. And here's where, well, not at the very beginning, the first couple of ones that I sort of saw and thought they were good prices. So, yeah, but the Dylan Craven influence is coming. So, first one up was Mega Man 11. I'm pretty sure I haven't shown these. If I have shown these, sorry. I've had them sat about for a while, but I don't think I have. Mega Man 11 I picked up for £8. So I was really sort of chuffed to get that. It looks really, really cool as well. I've never really been into Mega Man, but for £8, you can't go wrong, can you? You know, so it'd be nice to crack that open and give that a go. I've got this, but I don't have this version. I do have a special edition version, but this is an Ultimate Edition. I'm pretty sure it's much the same, but it's Shantae. Which one is it? Shantae, Genie, Half Genie Hero. I'm sure I've got this. I think mine's maybe a limited run one or a strictly limited possibly. But this was like £12. £12 for this. So I thought, well, I'll pick one up just in case. Because £12, you can't go wrong, can you? It's a fantastic game for that. Right, this is one. I think this is a Dylan Craven influence. One I forgot that I ordered, to be honest. When it came through the post, I thought I didn't order this, but obviously I did. This is a problem. Right, so it is Raging Justice by Team 17. Comes with a sort of a card. And this is like, it's almost like a claymation. So, you know, remember like Clay Fighters and things like that. They had sort of clay characters. This looks very similar. It's sort of in the vein of Streets of Rage, I would say. I don't know if you can see that there. It's in the vein of Streets of Rage. But I think it can be up to 6 players as well, or 4 players or 6 players. But it looked pretty cool. So obviously I ordered this. This is in the style of a Mega Drive box and that there, isn't it? So it'd be cool to crack this open and have a look. So I've got so much to be, so much. Like I say, that's the thing with all the games I've got and everything. I've got so many games I could never play them all. So I may as well whittle it down to just the ones I want to play. So like I say, that's another one. So I'm chuffed to get that. Next one, also influenced by Dylan Craven. Which is, I was actually looking at this on the Sega Saturn actually. I better not show those, some vouchers. Which is Battle Grega. I don't know how it's pronounced, but this is a cool little shooter. Really expensive on the Saturn and that. I think it's on Saturn. Yeah, it's on Saturn. This one, not on Dreamcast. So looks really, really cool. I think it's about 30-35 £. So yeah, it's chuffed to get that. So yeah, that was Dylan Craven told us about that one. So I was like, oh, bloody hell, Dylan, and so I had to buy it. It's like I said, it only cost me a lot more money if I got it on Saturn. So PS4 does a load of games like this, so that's another reason PS4 is absolutely a belter of a console at the moment. I think it's knocking it out of the park. Another one. I'm not sure if this is. I'm not sure if this is one that Dylan recommended, or one that I possibly. I think this was off Metal Jesus actually, or Reggie. I don't particularly watch them anymore much, but I saw this and I thought this looked pretty good. So I went and ordered it, and that is Battle Princess Madeline, which is like a Ghouls and Ghosts clone, and just looks really cool. So I think it's about 30 quid, this, maybe more, might have been 30, 35, 30, 40 maybe, I'm not sure, but yeah, it's a cool looking game. So really chuffed to get that. It's not one you see about, like say you have to pre-order these. These are, I think, as a Play Asia purchase. The last one is a Dylan Craven influence as well, and I'm quite glad I actually bought this. And this was advertised on Game for 35. And like I say, I had to juggle a bit of money around and move a few things and everything, but I'm glad I've done it now. So, which is Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Still haven't opened it. Everyone's saying how good it is. So I'm really, I'll be chuffed to sort of have a go on this. You've got to put some hours into this one, apparently. It's sort of a lot of levelling up and things, but it's basically a cracking game. It looks amazing. But this for me was the clencher, was the I'll try not to get it dirty. I've been keeping it in the case. Is the steel book, and I just think that's such a beautiful steel book. That is really nice, and this steel book is sold out ever, I think, and it's on the bay for silly money. So more than what I paid for the whole lot. So it's the same. So if you open it up, that's so try not to get the light on it. So that's a really nice piece of art. That's beautiful. I think it's really nice. It's the same one for the Switch and everything. So it's got the little Switch holder in there, and then inside it's just like that. So I think that's really really nice. So right, that's all the pickups we got, which is more than blooming I should have had. I'll try and hopefully, like I say, hopefully I won't pick up as much in the coming weeks. We'll actually get some pieces, you know, sell a few pieces and evolve the collection. And like I say, that's when you're a collector, that's always what happens. You go down one route and then you discover other routes, and then you use what you've collected before to fund the next collection. And I think that's the way it always goes. It's just it's an ongoing evolution of collecting. So like I said, I've got a few other things I'm thinking about in the pipeline, and yeah, it's I need some funds to fund that. So it's getting there. We're getting there. One step forward, 3 steps back. So all right, YouTube, like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next one. Cheers.